On behalf of all the labs and lab mixes that have another chance at life, thank you for your support. Over 4,300 lives have been saved thanks to the hard work of lab rescue volunteers. From the time each lab is saved from a shelter or bad situation to the time they are successfully placed in their forever home, numerous volunteers spend hours to make this happen. Designated volunteers are constantly checking shelters to make sure that labs are not put to sleep due to lack of space. They give freely of their time, looking through shelter websites, making phone calls, driving to and from shelters, standing in line, and following sometimes very difficult shelter protocol to get them out. Some come to us in such horrible condition that they need recovery time in foster care prior to spay-neuter. Some need major surgeries due to neglect, injuries, or accidents. We make sure that every lab receives core vetting and that all their medical needs are met prior to adoption. We have some very caring vet partners that provide quality care at discounted rates, which is so important due to the vast number of labs that we save. Tinsel was dropped at the shelter with a broken leg and a large open wound. She sat in the shelter for 4 days. Finally, they reached out to Lab Rescue. Our intake rep saw the condition she was in and immediately got her out and straight to the vet facility for medical help. Tiara was dumped in the night drop box at the shelter. Sadly, she clearly had been bred several times. Although she seemed to enjoy riding shotgun on the way to the vet, she was depressed and lethargic. We found that she had a thyroid disorder. She began to perk up soon after she landed in her foster home and began medication. Thank you, fosters. This is one of the most important jobs in rescue. The labs that we save don't usually come to us as perfect little citizens. When they walk into our homes, we know very little about them. We help them feel safe enough to learn their true personalities. They are surprisingly resilient. Each lab has their own personality with significant likes and dislikes, much like us. Placement into the right home is an important part of our work. Once we learn their personalities and teach them how to behave as a valued family member, our next step is to find the right home. Not only are we saving labs, but we are providing families with a wonderful new family member. Heidi was found as a stray and taken to the shelter. She had a severe case of Demodex mange. The intake rep found her on the shelter website and was given immediate clearance to pull her due to her condition. She drove to the shelter that day, got her out, arranged transportation, and soon she was on her way to the vet hospital. She has since been adopted by a wonderful family and is living her very own happily ever after. Coco's owner of 2 months contacted lab rescuers to relinquish her. She is only 3 years old and has already had 2 owners. We soon found out that she had a cruciate ligament tear on both knees. After her first surgery, she thoroughly enjoyed swim rehabilitation, but it wasn't long before she had surgery on her second knee. Thankfully, she is on her way to a full recovery, albeit a couple months, but she will live pain-free thanks to the help of lab rescuers and supporters such as yourselves. Inky had chronic ear and skin infections, so the shelter reached out to lab rescuers. As is the norm, our intake team sprang into action. We could not risk losing this precious girl, so we picked her up the same day. She was on the euthanasia list. She went directly to a dedicated foster who has been wonderful, taking her to vet appointments, giving her medicated baths twice a week, following recommended medical protocol, and pursuing holistic practices. All of this has made a very big difference in her recovery. She has a ways to go, but her foster is loving her through it all and will continue to help her become as beautiful on the outside as she is on the inside. Your support means everything to the labs that would not have a chance without your help.